Alrighty, guys, welcome back. We are watching ReZero Season 1, Episode 8. Subaru has new resolve and new motivation, and it is time to see what he will do with it to save the people he cares about. So, yeah, let's just get started. We are watching Season 1, Episode 8. We will be starting in 3, 2, 1. That is loud. Ooh. He's just gonna feel like he's gonna have to try really hard, that's for sure. Which isn't a bad thing, exactly. Okay, that's a great start. Hmm. So I wonder if he must smell like the witch right now, right? So I mean, it's kind of hard to make a good first impression, I guess. Thank you. Okay. Probably a better start than he's had before, honestly. All right. Yeah, he's still, still being a little bit weird, but that's okay. Hmm. You know what would be fun is watching this, or I guess watching. I guess he might die again still, probably, but watching whatever his last life on, you know, this respawn point is, right? Watching it immediately after the previous one, like watching like how the actual timeline plays out for all the characters other than Subaru, like obviously you can just like think about it, but I feel like it would be different than actually watching. It was episode 3, right? Where they was it episode 2? I think it was. I think the first like respawn point was resolved at the end of episode 2. So just going straight from episode 2 to whatever episode it is that he wakes up for the last time in this bed. I think it'd just be. I don't know. It'd be cool. Because I mean, I guess just like him, it's so easy to like I guess get kind of desensitized in a way to I guess the situation he's in and everyone else. I've mentioned a million times. I may be too critical about the way he acts around Amelia, but I don't know. I wonder how many times we'll see this opening because they feels like they barely ever use it. Okay, back to that. Sure. Oh yeah, he is yeah, he is trying really hard. Mm-hmm. That one, I don't know. I wonder which one of those is going to be harder. Mm-hmm. What kinds of magic even are there? Yeah, it's the spirit arts, right? Whatever that means exactly. Okay. Oh, so I mean, that's like Reinhard, right? That's what they mentioned. I don't know. Maybe it's similar. I wonder if he does, being from a different world. Hmm. He will be none of them. What is. Yeah, that's a great sound. Watch him just be messing with him completely right now. Shadow. Hmm. Reminds me of the stuff about the witch with like the dark looking hand we've seen. Hmm. I don't know. That could be cool. Yeah. Oh, okay. That's pretty effective. Hmm. Yeah, it's just like the witch, isn't it? Interesting. Hmm. I wonder if that'll make him even more suspicious in some way. Because apparently it's so rare, the shadow and light, that Puck didn't even mention it. It explodes. Please, let's not have that happen. She's all the way over there. Well, I don't know what mana looks like, so that's kind of difficult. I don't know what my gate is either, so I don't know. Rough. Yeah, it really does look like those the weird hands that the witch. Hmm. Okay. Fantastic. Great. Hmm. So it's interesting that he has a gate, despite being from another world. Wonder how it works exactly. No, he has to. Yeah, he has to. Can't take a day off. Yeah, he's just gonna go too far in the other direction. Not that he wasn't really trying before, but he has this idea that it's all because of his actions that all this stuff is going wrong. So he just thinks he has to try super hard. He's gonna burn himself out. Oko fruit. That's OP. Why don't you just carry those around? So yeah, why would you say that? What do you mean? Sorry to make you do that for me. Oh, true. Very true. Hmm. Back to this, huh? He's probably better than you at some stuff. I don't know. Chores. Interesting. They don't specifically talk about the smell of the witch on him with Rosewall, because I feel like that's like the main thing that it's at least making Rem suspicious. What do you mean there isn't a way? Okay, once it's activated. Yeah, so I mean, I guess it's just a matter of figuring out what's activating it. Hmm. So just come back here every day and ask if it's on you or not. Mm-hmm. We didn't get to hear the story about the Witch of Envy. Ooh. Oh, okay. So it's the seven deadly sins. Hmm. Interesting. Ooh. Okay. All right. So that's okay. Yeah. So that's what yeah. That's what Amelia did mean when she said I just happen to look like her or whatever. Hmm. Yeah, with how powerful the Witch of Envy seems to be, her doing that was very hmm. That does make you think, I guess. Yeah. Gotta hype himself up. Hmm. Man, he is really he's on one right now. I don't know. Nowhere. Yeah. Man, he is not gonna be able to keep this up. Like, obviously, it just kind of comes from a bad place too. Like, it just he's blaming himself entirely for everything, and he thinks it's his own actions that are the problem. So he just feels like he just has to try way harder, you know, which is not really a good way to view relationships or anything. Yeah. Hmm. And obviously, I just don't think this is gonna work either. This is so weird. It's so unnatural. Like, yeah, no, it really is. It's almost like he is treating them like NPCs, where if he does all these random tasks, he's gonna like gain relationship points with them. Oh God. Oh no. Ah. Oh, please. Fantastic. Great. Yeah, this is going very well. Uh-huh. Oh god. Just the deadpan look of all these people. Ugh. Hmm. Yeah. Man, it is rough. How this power that feels like it's giving him infinite chances is just doing this to him, you know? Because it's just giving him the opportunity to infinitely second guess all of his actions. Oh. Yeah. Please stop. All right, you know what? I'm glad this is happening though. For Subaru. Nisemono. Mm, cool shots. Aww. Oh, you don't have to view it like that. Yeah. In fact, you shouldn't view it like that. You can't. Yeah, it has been. I mean, it really would just feel like torture, right? Just being stuck like this. I mean, you can always say it's better than just dying and not having this power. But in a way, it's just like you're just stuck. Yeah, until you get it right. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Ah. Ah. And I think this will do it more than anything to help him win Rim's trust, right? God, I hope he doesn't die again. Oh, that was a really good scene. Betty really is his homie. The whole shaman thing, yeah, yeah, we have to deal with the curse. Let's say the relationship with Rim and Ram is solved. Hmm. Well, how about right now? Does he have a curse on him right now? How about that? Must be in physical contact. Who has he been in physical contact with? Okay, villagers at the okay, yeah, I forgot about that. I mean, what, one of those little kids? Like, huh? But I guess we don't know what all he did. I feel like they would have shown us though. Like, surely it wouldn't just be something off screen that happened. Okay, true. Thank you. Not I'm sorry. Yeah, not I'm. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Great. Fantastic. Thank you. His reaction to his reaction to Betty helping him compared to Amelia really is interesting. Just don't even talk about it. Don't even bring it up. Mm, yeah. Uh huh. Thank you. Thank you. Ooh. Hmm. I really hope we can get it right, but just it's uncharted territory figuring out this curse thing. We haven't really even gotten started. I just imagine how crushed Subaru would be if he died again. Sure. Oh, that was a good episode. That was a good episode. Man, these last two episodes have been so good. All right, we'll talk about it in the discussion. All right, let's talk about the episode. That was a good episode. Man, it kind of went the way I expected it would. But, not that I'm complaining. That's what I hoped would happen. So, I mean, it's all just man, everything that's happened with him realizing Rim is the one who's killed him at least twice. There's also the weird shaman curse thing going on, but like he's just blames himself. He blames his own actions and thinks it's his own fault. He thinks he is the reason, right? It goes along with his whole thing about how he feels like he has low self-esteem, right? He values himself like not very much, right? Low self-worth, Um and so because he has low self-worth, he blames himself for everything that's going wrong in his relationships. I mean, as extreme as it may seem, I mean, that kind of is, someone deciding to kill you because they don't trust you is a problem in a relationship, despite how, uncommon that kind of thing might be. Um, and of course, he blames himself for it. He thinks it must be him who's the problem. So he to compensate for that, he, does all of this that he does throughout the episode. Thinks he just has to try so hard and do so much. And obviously it's like unfair, right? Like that in general, that's obviously a bad way to view relationships, right? That you think you are always the problem, and that you just have to try harder, when it's obviously not even Subaru's fault. Right? Rim killing him, it's not like, I mean, just from the very baseline of it, Subaru isn't actually doing anything wrong, right? Like, Rim's suspicions of him are completely unfounded, right? So, even right off the bat, he's defending himself from the faulty, incorrect charges, So, I mean, but it's just obviously the idea that he has to blame himself and that it's his own actions and everything that's the issue, right? Uh, it's like the same reason why this whole I like this part about the say thank you instead of saying I'm sorry. Um, I think that goes back. It's the same type of thing. I think that comes from the same place of having low self worth for him, right? It's like you apologize to someone for helping you because it's like you think since you're worth so little that just out of the pity that they had for you, or just out of the them being a saint, that they had to go to so much trouble to help a worthless person like you, so you're apologetic for it, because it's like you feel like you don't deserve it, so rather than saying thank you, which is like lets the other person understand that you actually appreciate what they did, you assume you should apologize because you made the other person have to go out of their way to help someone who is, so worthless and awful, Um, hmm. And I just wonder, so off of that for a moment, let's talk about like lore, as we can call it lore. Um, so for one, at the very beginning of the episode, we saw this cool little like all this stuff happening, which we haven't seen that before. I don't know, I thought it looked cool. Let me turn off the volume. The hand reaching out and grabbing them. I really wonder what's up with it. Like the whole I don't know. I don't know. I want to know what's going on. I just want to repeat the same thing I've said a million times, but it just feels like it's like he is doing the bidding of the witch in some way. Everything he's doing is somehow doing the witch's bidding, and I don't know. Who knows? There's some reason the witch has given him these powers, right? So we have this talk with Puck about magic, which, man, a whole bunch of, I don't know, there's spirit arts and there's magic, which he says this thing about how people who use spirit arts draw mana from their surroundings, which Amelia said something about that with Reinhard when he was fighting, God, what was her name? Elsa? Was that her name? Or am I making that up? I think that was her name. The intestine killer lady, whatever her name was. And, see, I don't have my notebook. That's my problem. I left it in my whatever. But Amelia said that stuff about how when she's done healing, then Reinhard can finally mess her up because he draws mana from his surroundings, right? So I guess Reinhard's also a spirit art user. I guess that's why he's so awesome. I don't know, something like that. We have this discussion about a gate, which I guess I'm surprised Subaru has one. Who I don't know. I guess it's it must obviously not be like a physical thing, something, I don't know, whatever you would call magic, whatever spiritual. I don't know. But Subaru's shadow element, which is obviously, in my mind, related to the witch in some way, because we've seen the weird shadowy hand from the witch. Who knows? It's something. It is something. And yeah, and this, like when he's doing all this, it totally like we get the same sound effect as like that. I guess that I feel like is related to like Return by Death and the witch stuff. It's definitely reminding him of it. So I don't know. I wonder what's up with all that. I wonder what the origin of. I wonder how it's decided what element you are. Like how I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? Hmm. And I kind of like it. It's like he has bad control over his gate. He lets out way too much mana, and blows up. And in a way, that's kind of like that's just like what he's doing, like with his emotions in this episode. It's like he's trying way too hard and just doing. He's burning himself out. He is just doing way too much, and yeah, I just that's obviously. I feel like that's probably pretty intended. It's like man, why don't they just carry those fruits around? Those boko fruits or whatever. Now, anyway, I like how he can just talk to Betty all the time. It's very it's like I'm gonna say it's kind of like Monogatari spoilers very vaguely, I guess, but it's kind of like Hachikuji and Araragi in Monogatari now, because Hachikuji's like invisible for almost everyone, so Araragi can just kind of talk to her whenever he wants about like anything. Betty kind of feels the same for Subaru in a way, because I guess she is, not that she's like invisible to everyone else, but I think it's clear that in some ways he feels like he more open with her. I mean, he does keep going and talking to her all the time about random problems, and she just ignores him. But like, um, it's kind of a similar situation, especially like because in a similar way with Hachikuji and Araragi, he doesn't have all of this crazy baggage with Betty that he does with the other characters. With both of the twins, he has this extreme worry that if he doesn't try super hard and get them to trust him, then they're gonna murder him, and so he can't have like a normal, natural relationship with them. Amelia, you know, it's not really the same with Amelia, but Amelia is like a love interest, and he certainly does feel like he has to try really hard for I mean, just the basic fact, I assume, with the way he thinks about himself, like, yeah, he feels like he has to try really hard with Amelia in general, no matter what. I think he's not really at the point where he can be like natural and just have like a normal relationship with Amelia. Maybe more so after the events of this episode, that perhaps, right? That was, yeah, but with Betty, he doesn't really have any of that like emotional baggage going on in their relationship, so he can just kind of talk to her, and and the fact that she is like kind of a loner in a way, she just sits in the library all day. Um, it's kind of a similar thing where it's like he doesn't have to worry about, or he feels like he doesn't need to worry about her, going and telling everyone else about his problems and everything, right? Because she's, not that I think she would do that, but I guess it makes sense why he's so comfortable with her, And I guess it's interesting as well how he's so excited to say thank you to her and do this with her. And at the end of the episode, he almost messes it up with Amelia again. It's just very clearly a very different very different reaction between them. Because like when from this line from Betty, if you found it helpful, there's something you should be saying. It's like this felt like the payoff for the earlier scene where he says thank you instead of I'm sorry. But obviously, like with Betty, he doesn't have that. The emotional baggage and stuff isn't there for him, so he can just say thank you super easily, and it's completely fine. It's with Amelia specifically because of who Amelia is, and the intricacies of his relationship with her. Right. So I don't know. It's pretty funny. So, we get some more information about the witch, about how she killed all of the other 6 witches that bore the names of the remaining deadly sins, which is weird. I wonder what the witches are, and like what they were. I guess there's only one left now, but are they like gods of some kind? Are they? Man, I don't know. It makes me wonder. What does it mean that they're all dead, other than the Witch of Envy? Hmm. Drained half the world dry. Literally, what does I mean? I don't know. Who knows? We don't know much about the world, so maybe half the world is destroyed. Who knows? Okay, now this is interesting, right? Legends say she doesn't understand human language. Something this makes me think right away is like an isekai type situation like Subaru. But the thing is Subaru understood the language here immediately. Um, like he can talk to everyone just fine. So, hmm, I don't know. That's weird. That is weird. Hmm. And it obviously it makes sense, like the whole silver-haired half elf. It makes me wonder if this whole elf racism thing that I've talked about a few times and how it, probably informs Amelia's behavior. How like it's probably just specifically silver-haired half elves then, right? Not elves in general, not half elves in general, but when she tells people she's a half elf, you can obviously see that she has silver hair. It's going to be pretty clear what people are going to think, right? So I assume really it's like this type of horrible prejudice she has to deal with that almost no one else even can, that no one else even does, I mean. And that's just awful, Because at least, normally like people who are marginalized and have to deal with some kind of awful like, you know, marginalization in society. At least normally it's like a group of people who at least can have other people that can like relate to them and understand the same thing. Amelia probably doesn't. How many silver-haired half-elves can there possibly be, Like, God, that would suck. That would really suck to be in that situation. Hmm. And yeah, the idea that Amelia did take the Witch of Envy's name, call herself Satella, and with how powerful Satella seems to be, I don't know, that is very interesting that she would be willing to do that. Hmm. 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 Sorry. More Subaru trying way too hard. And yeah, and Amelia and Puck notice, thank God. Um, in a way, it kind of assuages my fears. Not exactly my fears, but just the things I've said about Amelia and Subaru's relationship, I guess, and how. Because I think it's clear that Subaru does act in this way with her that's almost like unnatural. That's definitely unnatural, like even before this episode, right? And I really hope that with this scene, um, after everything that happened, that can maybe we can take a few steps to fixing that, I guess. I don't think it's all just going to be solved. I don't think just he's going to be perfectly natural and normal around Amelia after this. We saw that they were pretty embarrassed at the end of the episode, right? But I guess I just hope um this will help him, I guess. Now one more thing I want to say before we get to this scene, right? It really is like this whole thing with the vase. It really is. It's like he's trying to grind out relationship points with all of these characters, you know? It's like he feels like if he does all these random miscellaneous tasks, he's just gonna, increase his relationship bar with these NPCs. And so, hmm, I guess I, you know, I hope just the events of this episode might kind of free him of that, I feel like he wouldn't return to this approach anyway. But I guess it just depends on what his mental state is about you know, how this happened, I guess. I don't know. About what he thinks it is that has solved the Rim and Ram issue for him. I feel like he's not gonna I assume he's going to leave this episode in this situation not thinking, okay, the my approach to this was great. Because yeah, I with how awful it was for him, I don't think he's gonna ever try it again. So that's good at least. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. That's just a very sweet scene. It's very nice. Because it really is like just, oh God, like it's crazy how this power, returned by death, that gives you infinite lives, you know, that's what it does, is actually just so awful, right? Just how torturous it has to be for Subaru to deal with it, and man, because he can't die, right? Like obviously the first thing you would think is, okay, at the very least it's like immortality in a way, but it's immortality in this way that's locking you in this loop until you get it right. And yeah, this feeling he's talking about now, so desperate to get it back, it goes along with what Betty was saying at the end of the last episode too, is things never return to the way they were. He can never get back to the way things were at the end of his first life in this respawn point, right? That will never happen. He can get back to something he likes equally as much, probably, but that existence is gone forever, and he just has to deal with that mentally. So in a way, this whole return by death thing is just like a torture implement. I mean, yeah, it is awful. So, let alone the fact that, I mean, he has to die over and over again as well. He just has to experience death. I mean, I'm glad Amelia is such a sweetheart, and so. Hmm, man. 'Cause, I mean, everyone around him really is just nice people, despite Rim killing him a couple times. Like, sure, she's not a bad person. Um, it's not his fault. I don't really think it's her fault either. So I don't know. I guess I just really want things to work out for him, I guess, is what I'm saying. I really don't want him to die again. That would be so awful if he died again. And that, oh man, that would really suck. If all of this was undone. Like, I don't even want to think what that would do to his mental state. And God, I want to know more about Rem and Ram. Specifically Rem. Rem is more interesting to me at the moment, I guess, but and it's so interesting how this moment of weakness, and just it's the moment of weakness combined obviously with just the fact that Amelia is so trusting of Subaru. um but she's so trusting of Subaru because of this moment of weakness in a way. And like that is what is probably what convinces Rem that he's a good person, like Amelia said, right? Lowers her suspicions of him. It's just the opposite of his approach, right? That he has to be perfect. Hmm. It's just very sweet. It's very nice. And then the last thing, so you have to be in physical contact with your target for the shaman curse thing to activate, which is weird. I mean, they just narrow it down to it has to be the village, and that goes along obviously with the fact that Rem was cursed instead of him. I mean, what did we see? We saw him touch all those random kids in the village. I mean, what do you tell me is one of them? I guess we don't know who he touched. We don't know who all he touched in the village, right? But there's no way. Like, the payoff for this would be so bad if it's actually just some random person he touched in the village that was off screen, right? So I don't know. Who could it be? Like, there's no way it's one of the random kids, right? That would be so weird. So I don't know. I really don't know. Hmm. I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see. I really just have no idea, so I would try and speculate, but I just don't know. And he's going to the village tomorrow with Rim and Ram, which, I feel like if that doesn't speak to his relationship with both of them working out this time, what does? So, good job, Subaru. We did it. Well, that was a really good episode. These last two episodes have been so good. I just way better than all of the previous episodes, honestly. So, man, it has been great. So, hmm. I guess that's it. Yeah, that was a good episode. Yeah, leave a comment. Tell me what you guys think, and I will see you in the next one.